This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are excited to be back with Eric Copeland, our CEO of EMC Consulting and Coaching from Atlanta, Georgia, joining us live today once again. Excited to talk to him about the executive coaching that he does, especially with those in the athletic field. That's right, because he says he's dedicated to helping athletes thrive, not just in their sport, but in their life. So how are you today, Eric?
Best day of my life.
There it is. Looking for that. Thank you so much. Excited that you're here today. And I also want to address, we're going to be on a little longer than normal. We're going to open up the phone lines if you have questions as we go. 631-307-4010. 631-307-4010. Fill me in. What's going on? Tell us who you are, what you're doing. Go ahead.
Sure. So as you stated previously, I am the CEO of EMC Consulting and Coaching. We are an executive coaching firm that help athletes not only thrive in their sports, but also in their lives. And I'm based here in Atlanta, but I can work anywhere, just wherever athletes are. I'm willing to help.
Well, thank you for being here. And let's talk about today's show. What do you have in store for us? I know it's going to be a big one, right?
Sure. One thing that came to mind that's in current events today, and I'm sure you are maybe aware of, is the Jaden Ivor situation. The young man that played or used to play for the Chicago Bulls, who no longer with the Bulls because of some comments he made that got him banned from the team and I guess from the league as well. And that kind of goes into emotional intelligence. Man, if I was this coach, I would love just to sit down and talk with him for 30 to 60 minutes, just to figure out what is going on with him, both internally and with his profession, just to see, what got him to the point to say things that he said. But as I was saying, talking about EQ, which is emotional intelligence, and coming from the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0, written by Dr. Travis Bradbury and Dr. Gene Greaves, their definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to balance self-awareness and self-management with social awareness and relationship management to navigate both your own emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. And emotional intelligence don't necessarily apply to athletes. I mean, it can apply to anyone. I mean, especially as a parent or as a friend. How do you relate to one another and how you read social cues can definitely be key into managing relationships. So, it's definitely want to get into the dynamics of emotional intelligence. I don't know if you have any questions about that.
Emotional intelligence, you also got me thinking artificial intelligence, which is contributing to our emotional intelligence these days, which could be a little bit of a problem, but we're gonna talk about that, right? A
Right.
little later. But really excited to get started here. And don't forget the lines are open 631-307-4010. If you have any questions as we continue along today, go for it.
Sure. So emotional intelligence has, four types of categories. Self-awareness, do you know who you are? Basically being aware of yourself. And then social awareness is recognizing and understanding emotions and perspectives of others. And then you have self-management, being able to control your own feelings, your own emotions. And then relation management is building and maintaining positive and productive interaction with others. So as an athlete, of course, the self-management piece, you got to be able to handle the moment. So a lot of times, people get on athletes, you can't get too excited. You got to be in the moment and be able to control your emotions and don't let the competition get the best of you, make you say or do something that's kind of out of character. But starting with the first part is emotional intelligence, the self-awareness. On the one hand, emotional intelligence is about becoming a subject matter expert on yourself. So, Jill, are you expert? Would you consider yourself an expert on Jill?
A what?
Would you consider yourself an expert on Jill?
Yeah. I am an expert on me. Yes. And don't you wish your soulmate or your boyfriend or your husband would be an expert on Jill? It doesn't work that way, but yes. Uh huh.
No, right, right, right. Be nice if my wife was an expert on me. I guess at times she thinks she is, but in reality, no, you're not. You know, is being able to hold a mirror up to yourself, and being able to understand who you are at all times. But I mean, I guess are there times that you don't know yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there are times actually.
Like if you're going through a tragedy or something traumatic happened to you, and someone says to you, "Hey, you're not yourself," does that kind of catch you off guard?
No, there are times when I'm not myself. You're right. And then I mean, you don't realize it. Like something's off, something's wrong. And then it's like, oh, I am not feeling right. Like, no, I understand that there are times that, yeah, you don't even know yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Oh, we got a caller. Hold on one
okay.
second. Hello, welcome to the show. You are live on the line with Eric Copeland. Who's this?
Good morning, and how are you,
I'm good.
Jill?
Thank you so much. What's your name?
I'm doing great, and how's the weather out there in New York?
Oh, it's going great. Where are you based out of? And what's your name, sir?
My name is Justin. I'm based out of in Baltimore.
All right. Well, hi, Justin. Just to let you know, you are live on the line with Eric Copeland, our consultant and coach. What did you have to ask him? Go ahead, Eric. Can you hear Justin? Just confirming.
Yes,
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 go ahead.
yeah.
Ask the question.
Eric, how are you?
Best day of my life. And you?
I'm doing great, and how's the weather out there, by the way?
I'm in Atlanta, so the weather is nice and sunny. Nice spring day here.
In Ohio,
Atlanta, Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. Wow, 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 wow.
Yes.
Great, great, great. And as well as that, how do you balance? So obviously you're a business owner. So how do you obviously balance your business life
With my personal life,
with personal life, and as well as that, like we want to know about like personal growth as well.
sure. Great question. So I treat my business life, quote unquote, like a job, meaning I put parameters and boundaries around it, say 8 to 5, and then anything I need to do afterwards, in terms of job, I'll schedule it. But however, once that 5 o'clock comes, that's strictly to my personal and family time. So I try to, set myself parameters around that. That way, um, I don't let work kind of consume me and take away from my family time because, hey, I want to spend time with my family because that was one of the goals I have as being a business owner is being able to spend time with my
Hmm.
family as well as balance, as well as take care of my family financially.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. As well as that, like so somebody like myself,
Uh-huh.
I just previously started a family, by the way.
Okay.
Aw.
Congratulations.
So yes. So how do you like how do you balance like business life, personal life, and growth as well as that? Like you want to grow your personal life as well. Maybe like lose weight or like something um like gain weight, something like that. Maybe you're not eating too much and like your personal life, like maybe you're having a little bit hard time with your relationship, maybe something like that, and with your fiance or wife per se, and then you're working all the time. So how do you balance all those chains to keep the motor running of yourself?
Okay. So when you say you started a family, I guess define that for me. Mean that you just got married or you just got married and you had a kid? I guess define what you mean by starting a
Yeah.
family.
Starting a family, meaning I just previously had a kid, basically almost 5 months ago.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, you spend time with the things that you like. So, I mean, and that's important to you. So, if family is important to you, you definitely want to put that as a priority on your schedule, meaning whatever time you set aside or you plan for your family, you got to make sure that you put parameters around that to block that time off to where nothing interferes with that time that you dedicated to spend time with your family. Um, so, like I said, whatever you prioritize
Hmm.
and whatever is important to you, that's what you're going to prioritize. So, definitely with an infant, you definitely going to get a lot of your time because I mean they can't take care of themselves, so I mean they're going to quite naturally take a lot of your time, and that's time that is probably the most precious time of
Right.
your life because the time you'll never get back, and that would be the time they're most dependent on you. So definitely, I would say whatever you have on your schedule, make sure you dedicate and plan accordingly around that time you want to spend with your kid, meaning put fences around it. Hey, we're going to spend me and my child. We're going to spend X amount of hours together every day. Then make sure as you're scheduling your day that you put that fence around that time that nothing gets in that way of the time with that child.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, because obviously, like myself, as a first-time father, and so it's like precious to me, but at the same time, pressuring on
Hmm.
my behalf as well, because I would love to be able to spend time with him, of my son, but the only issue is I do work, and I would love to be able to have work and personal life working simultaneously sometimes, so
So
I
is
can
your
be able to
oh,
grow.
okay. So is your work schedule flexible or is it pretty set that, is pretty rigid that, hey, I work for these hours, and then anything after that is my time, or is your schedule flexible, meaning you can go in and work at any time or be called in at
Mm-hmm.
any time?
It's pretty flexible, but at the same time, my mindset is keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So, how can I that keep going mindset to reduce that, to be able to spend time more with my kid?
All right. So this is where the coaching in me is really coming out. So what do you mean by keep going, keep going? Why do you have that need to keep going, keep going?
Because one day I would love for my kid to be able to like continue forward in life and not have to worry about where he has to eat or what's the next meal, because a lot of people here in Baltimore are sacrificing a lot
Hmm.
because of the economy.
Right.
Yes.
But
So we would love to know how we can um, personally grow in that
so are you
and
looking to,
have
I'm
our
sorry.
personal life and business life interactive.
Okay. are you looking to grow as a person or looking to grow as a professional, business professional? I guess when I'm just trying to
Grow
understand the
as
growth
a
part.
grow as a business professional.
Okay. And and I guess what are your goals in terms of growing as a business professional? Eh,
Grow as in my my goals is to have my son be able to travel myself to travel when I'm basically 27 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to be in my 40s to able to have my kids to be able to travel whenever they want, and myself.
When you say travel, travel leisurely or travel as part of your work assignment?
Travel work wise, travel like vacation wise with downtiming, like downtiming as in no distractions from the outer world.
Okay.
So so I guess or do you have the opportunity now? I guess have you maybe talked to your boss or talked to well, I guess in your situation, is there an opportunity where you can incorporate your child into your job or bring your child with you
Well,
or
there's
have
personal growth. There's personal growth involved with that we would love to do, but sometimes we see sacrifices on those being young at my age, at 27.
Mm.
So we would love to be able to outgrow those opportunities and live those opportunities.
okay. Um, I'm just no, just thinking, you know, how are you doing that now in terms of, I guess, what steps are you taking now in terms of, you know, your growth opportunities and also trying to interact with your son? What are you doing now?
Well, it's going down to my son because obviously, um, kid is priority at this
Right.
point in financial and everything purposes. So we would, uh, I would appreciate like a little bit of advice so I can be able to have a basically a balanced life.
All right. So I'm trying to avoid the advice monster here, and I'll talk about it later in my spiel. But um, are there other avenues that you can possibly explore in terms of, maybe as a way to take care of your family, that would give you more flexibility with your family in terms of maybe another job or another business that you can do while you spend that time with your kids? Is that a possibility?
Well, there's I would. It's just that my job is during the day. I appreciate the job during the day. I can
Uh-huh.
spend time with my child like during the nighttime,
Right.
but as well as that during the nighttime, sometimes this my kid is overly excited to see me and would love to like force himself to stay up, but he obviously needs the rest
Mm-hmm.
and all the care that he needs to grow himself.
Let me ask you this, or like there in your current job or current situation, are there times where you can just quote unquote take off during the day and maybe spend time with your son, as a way to kind of, you know, spend time with your son?
I would love to, but it's not the appropriate time to be seeing your son when you're a father in a work type environment when the mother is staying at home.
I'm I guess the issue with that is what I mean, because if you're taking time off, are you getting paid for that time off, or you're having to take time off with no pay? Because if you're getting paid for it, then you're still being compensated, and you're spending time with your son, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, right?
Well, being forward, that it's that when I'm not focusing on work, it's a little bit of a distraction on what's the money coming forward.
So when you're saying the money coming forward, meaning that I guess if you take time off, then you're not getting paid for that time off. So then you're kind of focusing on how do I pay for this time to spend with my son? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Well, I would love to be able to have a balanced life of business, personal, and growth. And what is a good um, possible, basically, like advice that you can give others as well if they're
Okay.
in this situation as well. I
What
know
type
that I'm short in time as well.
okay. What type of job do you do?
Oh, I'm well, I'm a fashion designer,
Oh,
Okay.
and I like to edit when I'm inspired.
Okay. So as a
So whenever I'm inspired, always 24/7, I would like. I always fashion all these designing, um, like design things,
uh, uh-huh.
and as well as that, I would. I always put pieces and extra detailing in photos, all that, all that, little bit of like contrasting, which and I would like be able to not be that inspired with my business
Okay.
and to put more on the personal or be able to balance all
Okay.
that with my growth.
Sure. So as a fashion designer, do you have to be in your quote unquote office, or can you do that from home?
Well, if I tried home for 3 to 6 weeks, um, trying it out here and there,
Hmm.
trying with my newborn son.
oh,
So, but unfortunately, focus wise, focus wise, focus wise, I can't business growth this because business meaning money, and money means my my son can have a plate of food or his formula fed to him.
So when you were working at your home, you saying the focus, meaning were you like, I guess, kind of plan or not plan, but just caring for your son when you should have been working, or were you, I guess, flesh that out for me when you're talking about the focus piece.
Focusing is um, my son. He's an infant,
Right.
so he's constantly crying, constantly like I like bowel movements per se, per
Right.
se,
Diaper change. Right.
bowel movements and having to change diapers, all that stuff. Um, Having a temperature wise, my water to put the formula in, making sure it's in the right temperature so then he can be um, having the formula goat milk with him
Mm-hmm.
so he can drink that or consume that. And yeah, I would like to know, like, knowing that I have a fiance staying at home, but sometimes I feel like she's doing an ecstatic job sometimes,
Aw, that's
staying at
sweet.
home, and while I'm doing night shift, per se.
That,
I'm at night shift taking care of my son so he can interact with myself. I would like to know how can I balance all my trio, my business, personal, and growth life.
well, um, since you mentioned you have a fiance, and I guess is your fiance able to help during the day, or because maybe we can be a there could be a trade-off that can be made in terms of, hey, between these hours, my
Yeah.
fiance
It,
would do these
it's a little
duties.
complicated with my situation. It's a little bit in detailing on little things that are very, very, very controversial going on. So I'm basically the head of the the family now.
Right. And I guess, are you the primary caretaker for the family in terms of not only in terms of
Now,
financial, but also to,
currently, with everything that's going on with um, what's going on with the current government, yes, I'm now currently now the head
Okay.
taker of the family.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, what's
per
kind of,
se.
yeah. I mean, I guess your relationship dynamic with you and your fiance does present a challenge in terms of, because, you know,
She used to work. She used to be a worker, but
uh-huh.
she's a little bit afraid to go to work
Oh.
because of what the government has been doing with
Oh,
people now.
gotcha. So so she's pretty much limited to being at home, right? Because of what's going on in the current environment with the government? She's pretty much relegated to being at home.
She's choosing staying at home, so she doesn't have to be away from her child.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, let me ask you this overarching question. Do you feel your child is being taken care of by both you and your fiance?
We are taking
Okay.
care, but we would love to be able to have a normal life,
Yeah.
normal life,
Okay.
as in going out to eat,
Mm.
going to other places without fearing a lot of our personal life. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we would like to grow in our business.
Oh.
And let me ask you, what do you feel, or what do you think is preventing you from growing in your business? If you had to put a finger on it, what is that thing that is preventing you from growing?
Organizations that are very, very, very complicated on people who are trying to do better for their careers and themselves,
So,
for their family.
so that's what's preventing you from growing organizations?
Absolutely.
In what way? I guess flesh that out for me.
My fiance, my wife, is very, very, very afraid to go back to her workplace because organizations are threatening her and other employees, coworkers of hers to continue work with them, and they could be outskirted.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that was your fiance growth challenge. So what is your growth challenge?
My growth and challenge is providing the other 50% from her labor, since she used to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to provide all 100% work. Now it's no longer 50-50. Mm-hmm. Now it's 100% my shoulders.
Okay. So
I would like my 100% to be balanced in personal, business, and growth.
all right. So when you're saying growth, it's more the financial piece or the lack thereof on the financial piece, the financial stability piece to be able to provide for comfortably to provide for both you and your family to where, you're not stressing over what's coming next so you can spend time with your family. Am I hearing you correctly in that regards? It's just the financial piece is the financial stability piece is
Finan- Financially and personal life.
Mm-hmm.
right. So, which kind of goes back to the question I asked earlier: are there other job opportunities that you can do as a designer that will provide you more income to where you can comfortably provide for your family at this stage that you can pursue?
Hmm.
Well, basically, as a kind of a stubborn father would be saying, I would continue doing forward on my dreams and never give up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
What do
thank
you
you.
say to, what do you recommend to a person to balance personal, business, and growth on a person that never gives up?
That never what?
Gives up, I
That
think.
never gives up.
Never gives up.
Well, I mean, you set your goals. You set goals that you can attain, um, to where it's in line with, you both your work, set your work goals, your family goals, and your personal quote unquote growth goals. Set them aligned to where that they're, as you put it on paper, you can see, as I hit this, how does this align with the goal of the family, how does this align with the goal of my personal growth, and making sure that what you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing or trying to do, that your goals, or all three goals, are aligned to achieve what you trying to achieve long term, and make sure they're not conflicting. Because I guess what I'm hearing is that you just probably want to line out your goals, your long-term goals for each three of those categories: your personal, job, and family. Line them out on a piece of paper, or however you want to, on a chalkboard or whatever, and line them out, and develop a plan to achieve those goals, and making sure that those plans don't conflict with each other, that they complement each other. Does that make sense?
Yes, as in growth, as in like making sure I can have people doing, instead of two, I can two sales. I can have them doing maybe possibly 5 or 7 sales per day
Yeah. Yeah.
in my business.
Right.
All right.
Correct.
All right. Just going to let you know the lines are still open, 631-307-4010. Justin, I want to thank you for calling in, and thank you so much for being here. And anything you want to say as you go?
Yeah, like, have a wonderful day and great spring.
Yes,
Good
happy spring to you
April.
too. Yeah,
Happy spring. Let's have this great Easter Sunday,
beautiful. Yeah.
and God bless.
God bless. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate you for calling. Thank you. Thank you. All right, 631-307-4010. If you have any more questions in the meantime, gosh, we got to get back to our roots here. Again, we're on the phone with Eric Copeland, online, I should say, on the show live today. And, EMC consulting, coaching. Maybe you want to walk us, into a little journey of how you started, your company, what inspired you, and
Sure.
just give us a little overview. And yeah, please. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, that call there, that was actually kind of
Yeah.
inspirational, because, you have people who are dealing with life situations, and how do they get from point A to point B. And uh, I hope I helped Justin, get at least from
Yeah.
to the next point. And there was a lot there, and I know it was a lot that he wanted to say, but he couldn't say, just, because of the situation. Um, but no, I mean, situations like that and people like Justin is what got me into business, and like I mentioned earlier, the situation with like Jaden Ivory, you know, just seeing athletes get themselves in a pickle, um, thinking they're being, well, not thinking, but being honest with themselves and just being honest, but then it comes across the wrong way. You know, just want to provide a safe space for athletes to be able
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, deal with frustration that they have, in a safe space, in a private safe space to where they can, vent,
Mm-hmm.
get their frustrations off and then help them move forward in life, with their sports and also in their personal life. Because not to make it about him per se, Jaden
Yeah.
Ivey, but if you kind of look at his situation, I mean, the young man is hurt, so he's kind of away from the team. And when you're away from the team, you're kind of frustrated because you're not playing, and you're not being productive. So then, things kind of creep into your life, and then you get frustrated and you say some things that you may not want to
Yeah.
say, and kind of wish you had somebody there you can bounce it off against or even say it to, and
Mm-hmm.
keep it internal, you know and that way it kind of helps, you know help with your sanity if you had that coach there, that executive coach, that personal coach that
Oh
you can
yeah.
just bounce things off, because social media is not your friend at times, especially in terms of venting your frustrations or having challenges. Social media is not your friend, because once you put it out there, it's public, and then at that point you're having to do an apology tour, and a lot of you are couples, just to save face. So that's the reason why I got into this business, is to kind of help athletes to, you know, prevent them from putting themselves out there to where they're having to do an apology tour, and being able to help them work through things in their life, and then that will help them in their sports and in their personal life.
Perfect. And thank you for that. And is there any moments that you want people to be aware of, kind of what pushed you forward, what really, you know, pushed you into doing this full time and like getting into your own business and becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, kind of going back what Justin said about, hey, spending time with your family, because that was one of the things that for me is like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, when you're in corporate America, you're always at the you're on someone else's schedule. You're not on your own schedule. So if corporate if the corporation say, hey, I need you to go to this city next week, no matter what you had planned, you need to change your plans and you need to go to there because we're paying your bills. So, you know, they say go, you got to go. And, especially having a family, and when I was, and my daughter was younger, I used to hate telling her I was going out of town, because every time I did,
Oh,
the tears just start rolling and crying. So we just cried, and it was
yeah.
like, man. So then when I had to go to the airport, I would have to
Mm-hmm.
sneak out the house and get in the
Oh,
car, and then and once I got on the plane, then I would call or got to my destination, I call my wife and talk to my wife and my daughter, and like, hey, I'm in so and so. Well, didn't stop the crime, but at least I didn't see the crime, as opposed to you know being there watching her cry. And it's like, oh, I got to go. Daddy has to go, but and I hate to break your heart, but that's what got me into wanting to do my own business. But then also too is just helping people to work through life challenges, and
yeah.
help and being that person they can bounce things off, and you know being their quote unquote their social media, hey, you can tell me, but the difference between me being social media and Facebook or Twitter being social media is, once you put it out there on social media, Facebook or Twitter, it's out there forever. But for me, it's
So
in
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
it stays in our private space. So, I'm not gonna go and
Yeah.
out in the world and tell you, what you said, or repeat what you said to someone, because one, you assume me, and two, it's a breach
Ah,
of confidence. So, I want to create that safe space to help people to be able to vent and work through challenges in life without it being become public.
yeah. Interesting. Thank you for that. And again, lines are open 631-307-4010 if you have any more questions. Do you want to share maybe a story, a transformational story of one of the people you've worked with personally that could help enlighten us here today?
Yeah. Well, also I want to touch for around time here when he was talking about he being Justin was talking about advice. And one thing, in coaching we avoid is what we call the advice monster. And that's something, as a coach, you don't want to do is give advice because if I give you advice, then basically I own the problem at that point because if what I tell you to do doesn't go right, then oh man, Eric said, well, I should have did this and it went wrong. Man, it's Eric's fault. Well, no, I don't want to be the advice monster. I want to be the person that tells you, help you to look at things from different situations and help guide you into making a decision. As an example, as a person that I coach, they were struggling with retirement and this person was like, what do I do? Because I'm so used to the schedule that,
Yeah.
I gotta get up at this time every day. I do this, I do that, and do that. I don't know how to relax. Well,
Mm,
I'm like, well, one thing you can do, I talked this person in, is set up a schedule. You can schedule your relaxation points along the day, and you can reschedule your, hey, I need to go shopping during the day, or I need to do this. So as a way to kind of continue on their schedule of having a schedule, you can schedule your day,
mm-hmm.
and keep a schedule. That way, hey, you feel like you are doing something and you are living to a schedule, but it's your schedule and it's something that you can do and you can change and you're not beholden to the company because or to someone else schedule because it's your schedule, but you're quote still living to a schedule, but
Yeah.
it's your schedule that you have the flexibility to change. So that person realized like, oh wow, I didn't
I
realize
get it.
that that I
Yeah.
can control I can create a schedule and control it and still live to a schedule and change it if I need to. So those are some of the things that people, who are transition, from, the athletic world that they're, used to practice at a certain time, game at a certain time. Well, okay, you can still keep a schedule. It's just it's your schedule. So what it is that you want to do every day. So you schedule out and you just live to it or adhere to it. And it just becomes fun because it's the fun things that you want to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that. We still got 5 more minutes left in the show. 631-307-4010. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to call. In the meantime, Eric, what else did you want to kind of share?
Sure. So kind of going back on the emotion intelligence and kind of making it personal, I guess, like for you, like Jill, I guess, like I know you said you mentioned you had a son. So I guess
I
like
got
when you
two. Yeah,
yeah.
9, 9, and 10. I mean,
So
9
when
and
they
11. Sorry.
it's like when they're coming to talk to you about situations that they're dealing with, are you the thermostat or are you the thermometer? And what I mean by that, thermostat is someone who kind of control the temperature of the room, meaning that it's not too bad, or the thermometer is, hey, I got stuff I'm dealing with at work, or I'm dealing with this, and then this child's coming in with their problems, and you just leave me alone, or do A, B, C, D. So are you the thermostat or the thermometer,
I'm a
or is it both
thermostat.
at times?
I'm a, both at times. Mostly a thermostat, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's good or bad. I know. I
No, I
know.
mean that can be a good thing. I mean, most of the time that's a good thing. I mean, because you don't want to be a thermometer because you want to de-escalate situations.
Yeah, of course.
Because you don't want to have your child come in and they do something wrong and then you get upset and they get upset, so everybody's upset, so everybody's fussing and nobody's listening. So someone has to be the thermostat just to bring calm and coolness to the situation.
Yeah. I guess I'm a
But
little of both. Yeah.
but I guess also you can be a thermometer too in terms of, hey, did you clean your room up? No. Why didn't you clean your room? So I guess you can kind of heat them up in terms of, hey, you need to get whatever
True.
done. So
No, very true. Very true. Oh, gosh. You got me thinking now. Yeah, sometimes I have the panic. I'm a panic mom. Oh my God, why isn't it done? What are we gonna do? I'm always very like, yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, but it's all right.
yeah,
We all have our good and our bad, and I just feel that it's good to be a
right,
little of both. Let's
right.
say it simply. Yes.
Well, also keeping on that parenting theme, how are you most likely to hurt someone in your care?
How am I gonna hurt them?
Or how are you most likely to hurt someone in your care?
Because I'm too honest, and that could be hurtful
Oh,
to people, I think. Yeah, some people don't want to really hear. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm a little too brutal. No
wow.
filter. So it could be hurtful. And yeah, so I don't know how to control that much. I usually just kind of say what I feel, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I hurt someone's feelings. So yeah, not perfect.
So using emotional intelligence, I guess, in that aspect, do you are you aware of the situation, or do you try to read the situation and maybe not be as brutal at times, or
Yeah,
is it?
I catch myself, but yeah, I try to bite my tongue. Sometimes I don't have the ability to. It just comes out, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then I'm like, wait, I'm not really sorry because how I really feel. And then it goes on and on. It's like, shut up, just Jill, just shut up. Really, yeah,
So you say, I'm not sorry because how I really feel. So, or are
yeah.
you sorry because you said it, or are you sorry on how it came out?
No, I'm sorry because how it made them feel. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I
Mhm.
didn't think you'd be offended by it, but then if people are very different, so it's hard for me to always assess that. And then you can see people get upset. They don't like my opinion. Then I'm like, well, then I don't like your opinion. Like, it's just, don't get me. Oh gosh, now you're making me nervous thinking about all this. But yeah,
Well, no, I mean, but it's part of the emotional intelligence because that's something that we all have, and it's something we all deal with, whether we're a parent, whether we're a friend or a boss. I mean, or coworker. I mean, when you walk into a room, and like with my family, like I can tell, I can read from their body language if they're having a good day or a bad day. So I know not to say certain things or ask certain questions because I know that if I ask a certain question, you know, yeah, I may not get the response I want, and then that may turn the situation. It may cause the situation to get worse than what it needs to be.
it sure
Like if
does. Yeah,
like if my wife's having a bad day and I'm like, hey, what's for dinner? It's probably not something
yeah,
probably not something you want to hear right now, you know. So I mean, just something in terms of as part of emotional intelligence is being able to read the room, read body language and body cues to understand should I ask this question, or is there a better way to ask the question? You know, like, hey, what's for dinner? In terms of, hey, are you hungry? Oh, so if you're hungry, hey, what do you think about eating? That way, we're getting the food question resolved, but just not necessarily being direct about it. Because if I ask him what's for dinner, that's the assumption is, hey, I'm asking you to cook dinner, as opposed to, hey, are you hungry? Hey, what do you like to eat? That
yeah,
way, I haven't committed you or me to cooking. I'm just asking, hey, what's what we're gonna do about dinner, and then we can kind of talk through about who's gonna do the cooking, whether me or her or both. So I guess something in terms of emotional intelligence, how to diffuse a situation, but at the same time get the original intent resolved, but not necessarily getting someone offended by asking a direct question because a direct question may get someone
yeah.
offended. But if I
I
ask
get it. I
you,
get it. I get it. Yeah.
but if I ask you in a roundabout way, then we're all both happy.
Well, I'm
Well,
happy. Are you happy today? I'm so happy. It's
yes,
a good day. Honestly, I
yes.
feel like it's a good day. Like I feel that I don't know. The sun is shining where I am. How's the weather where you are?
The sun is shining. Well, it was supposed to rain today, but I guess they got that wrong. So
Yeah.
no, I'm glad to have the sun shining. But I guess It'd be nice if it rained because of the pollen. I don't know if you have a pollen problem in New York.
Always, my goodness. Well, I have environmental allergies. Yep, but we're good. We're gonna get through taking our medicines, and we do allergy shots, me and my kids. So, oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here for your time today. How can we contact you? Would you mind sharing?
Sure. So I can reach via my website at emcconsultingcoaching.net. That's emcconsultingcoaching.net.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our caller, Justin, for calling in today. We appreciate you, and we'll talk again next week. Thanks so much, Eric. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Thanks, sweetheart. Bye bye. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.